So, Mr. Tunde, with your class, let me give you the host back. Give me 1 minute, please. There you go. So, Mr. Tunde, what kind of people have you seen transitioning to your audit class, audit training? Who can be an auditor right now?
Who can be an IT auditor?
Yes.
Anybody with a minimum qualification of at least associate degree,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe with some intimidating certifications in IT. And of course, mostly recruiters and organizations do require a minimum of bachelor's, but I've seen situations whereby, folks with associate degree and even
Okay.
gets transitioned into this role. So it
Yeah.
really doesn't matter what you studied as your first degree. I studied law and I was called to bar. As a matter of fact, this year is supposed to be my 11 years at the Nigerian bar because I was called to bar on October 5th, 2011, but came to this country and, it was a seamless transition for me into IT audit, just pretty
Yeah.
much the same way it can be seamless for anyone looking to transition into the IT
Right. Okay.
field.
Okay. So that's good. That means the average African, could easily jump into this and get a feel for what's going on. Very good. All right, please
Absolutely,
continue.
absolutely. And that's the reason why I decided to come and share some of these tips and all these insights with virtually everyone on this platform, because I understand that we have so many professionals
Mm-hmm.
in this platform.
Mm-hmm.
Some are already, you know, in a corporate setting,
Yeah.
looking maybe to diversify or just transition into something
Mm-hmm.
easier, or maybe we have folks on this call who have friends or relatives who are also looking to transition into this field.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So, what does your course entail? Talk to us.
All right, thank you very much for that question. So, um, you know, just before I delve into what this program um, will be all about, and what every prospective or candidate that eventually attends this session will be benefiting from this course. Let me just say these. Also, in response to the question that Emeka asked before I was called to the platform about what are the alternatives? What are those things that we can do to plan just for those rainy days, should they eventually happen? So I'm going to quote a former president of the United States, Dwight Eisenhower. It was the president from 1953 to 1961, and he was succeeded by the late president, John F. Kennedy. He said something that I remember very well. He said, plan is useless, but planning is inevitable, which simply means that regardless of wherever we find ourselves, whether we're in a very critical situation or we're in a buoyant situation, we must always plan for the worst case scenarios. And that's why I completely appreciate what everybody contributed before I joined this call. So how is this relevant to what I'm presenting to us today? We live in the 21st century. Technology drives everything we do, the way we live, the way we talk, the way we transact, transportation, how we send, receive, store, and even process information. That is the very crux of information technology. So if you ask me without looking at the book or without even reading any definition from any author, I can tell you that technology or information technology is the easiest and fastest way of sending, receiving, storing, and processing information. So for the auditing aspect, as long as there are risks, every day of our lives, we take risk, whether from the moment we get up from our beds to walk into our cars, to even step out, even if we are not going out, we take risk. So as long as we always have regulatory risk, compliance risk, think of reputational risk, think of any kind of risk that can impact an organization and even yourself as an individual. Auditing can never be out of fashion. So this is the reason why IT audit as a training will always be a very promising career for I don't know when. So what are we going to be learning from this training? You'll be learning about the audit process. You'll be learning about the components of IT. You know, think of the hardware, the software. You know, it's not going to be in depth. It's not going to be technical. Just to give you, introduce to you what we mean when we say you want to be an IT auditor. You need to understand the components, all the components of IT, before you can say, oh, I want to audit this. That way you can assess the risk of what you're auditing. Types of audits, types of IT audits that we have. Think information security. This is the very essence of, in fact, this is the most fundamental aspect of IT audit. You will see cybersecurity professionals, SOC analysts, you see them. This is not just a buzzword. According to NIST, there are three components of information security: confidentiality, integrity, and availability of our information in our daily lives, whether it is peculiar to an organization or our individual selves. And this is the reason why information security is inevitable. Then I'll be teaching us what we also call risk and control. I'll be teaching us how the IT general controls, application controls, frameworks, and regulations that you will be leveraging if you get a job, which I strongly believe is more than 95% possible. We have testimonies on this call. There is also a member of this platform who just shared a very great news with me today that she just got a job and now she's going to be getting $90 an hour. And in fact, it's just coincidental.
Can we hear from her? Can we hear from her, please?
Please, Mary, are you on the call?
Mary, are you on mute?
Oh, Mary, please kindly unmute yourself. Don't worry, we're not going to cheer from your paycheck.
Yes. Talk to us about your situation, please.
Mr. Emeka, yes, I'm Mr. Tunde's student. I wish I was. I'm a student. My testimony with him is that I've done training from like 2 people before, but like I said earlier, I have a cleaning business. I have an health sector, psychiatric certification. I work with autistic kids. But like you rightly said, we need to have something to keep in our hand that will sustain forever. So in doing the trainings, I've not really been able to defend my interviews until I met him sometimes last year. And he will call in the middle of the night, you can't give up. Even if he's having training with other people, he will call me to come and join the sessions, to take the training for anybody that wants to be pushed.
Very good.
So eventually, he got tired of me just calling him, I have an interview. He will say, okay, let's start working on it together. And I just keep pushing. I currently do KYC compliance with Coinbase too. But you know, just consistent trying, not giving up, and having a trainer that is ready to assist you till you achieve it. So he was able to do that for me. And I currently got a job with PwC. So by the grace of God, that's just it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mary. We also have someone on this call who I wouldn't even say that he attended the full training because he already had an idea. Then he was working with the banking operations at Wells Fargo, was that South Carolina or North Carolina? His name is Mr. Kingsley. Kingsley, are you on the call? I know he joined earlier. If you can also share your testimony with us right now. Hello?
Thank you so much. I'm here.
All right. Please share.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate this opportunity, to share my, testimony and also to uplift everybody's, mind and, mindset. So my experience with Tunde has been so awesome. Like I said, I don't really go through the class like 100% with him, but I train with someone else. But the training was like, I never gained anything because I keep struggling with interviews until I met Tunde through a friend. And just like Mary just shared, Tunde is this person that I can wake up anytime and call him, hey, Tunde, man, something just came to mind and I think I have an interview tomorrow. What do you think I can do? And all the way from the start to finish, Tunde was there. And I was with Wells Fargo, like I said, as a fraud analyst. And, also within Wells Fargo, I was able to get like an IT audit job, but what they were paying me because it was internal wasn't really much, So I did that for like 2 months. And a friend of mine spoke to me, said, Kingston, are you okay with how much you're earning? I'm like, no, he said that you can do it. Put your resume out there. Like I said, put your resume out there. I woke up one night and like when they say bombing, I applied for about 25 jobs within 2 hours. Honestly, within 24 hours, I started getting calls for an interviews. And within a couple of days, I was able to get another job. That makes it the current job, Wells Fargo, and other job, which is Ally Financial. Personally, I decided to stop one, but I can tell you, IT audit is the way to go. Like, that brings me back to what you asked earlier, that how long do you think it's going to take you to get a job if you lose your job today? Trust me, with IT audit, it all depends on how hard you push. It all depends on how resilient you are. You can get a job within a week if you want to.
Right. Of course.
Thank you.
It's resilient. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That makes me know that, this works.
Let me quickly say something.
Yeah, sure.
Right. I'm not Tunde's student. You understand it? I'm in that field. Within 2 weeks, I got a job.
Oh, this is
Right.
okay. Hey,
Yeah, this Tosin.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of opportunity out there in that field. You understand it? So, once we kill in, I have the prerequisite and the skill set, right? The heaven is just a stepping stone. That's what I would say. Then I will encourage Mary, right? PwC, right? Don't stay put there, because definitely they are going to use you and overuse you. There are other opportunities out there that you won't need to stress yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good.
So let me end on this note. Tunde, this is one of your words, and this is it. Let me just put it the way you used to put it. Tunde always tell me that it's not a matter of you're going to get a job or not. You're definitely going to get a job, but the question is when, and that when is how dogged are you?
Exactly.
Thank you very much. Those are my very exact words. Those are my very exact words. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Emeka, I'm so sorry. I know we are just running a little over time.
It's okay.
So I just want to seize this these few minutes to appreciate those who contributed, including the Tosin, who also contributed right now. I've not met you before, but I'm glad that you are also part of this very big testimony. And let me also share my own personal testimony too. My own personal testimony is that once I get a job and I don't like it, I just tell them you can F off. And trust me, I don't even look back until I get what I like.
Correct.
And I got a job, and I think I shared a little bit of the way they actually praised me at my job. I shared some of those comments with Emeka when we met last week.
Oh yeah.
Today, the vice president called me to our office and said, Tunde, are you planning to study for anything? The company pays 100% tuition. If you want to do your master's, your PhD, we're going to pay 100% tuition because we don't want you to leave this company anytime soon, even if you intend to leave. So the point I'm trying to make is this is a very good career. This is a promising career. This is one, and of course, I'm still coming to other benefits that are associated with it, with this career. But before I get there, I don't want us to lose the very substance of this presentation, which is on what we are going to be learning and the benefits and what really IT audit entails for the benefit of those who have not trained in IT audit, or for the benefit of those who don't even know what IT audit is all about, or who are curious. Because we have three types of people in life: those who make things happen, those who actually watch these things happen, and the third category of persons are those who are actually wondering what exactly is happening. So if you don't want to belong to the second and the third categories of person, I would really appreciate if you give me just few more minutes so I can complete the subsequent slides.
Sure,
So
please go ahead.
like I mentioned, we talk about IT general controls. I will be teaching us that too in the class. I will be teaching us application controls. I'll be teaching us about frameworks and regulations. So if we have any cybersecurity experts here, they will tell you that frameworks and regulations are very fundamental to how we operate, within the IT audit workspace, especially with the growing need for information security, especially new regulations like GDPR, we can say is relatively new. It came out in 2018, which is General Data Privacy Rights. We also have CCPA, that's the first legislation ever in the United States of America that talks about data privacy rights of California residents. Now, just last month, the state of Virginia implemented another legislation of a similar kind, and that's the Virginia Consumer Protection Act. And that law is going into effect on the 1st of January next year. So I can tell you that there will be a growing need for IT auditors, cybersecurity professionals, IT risk management professionals. And trust me, when you take this training, you have the benefit of transitioning into IT security or risk management. You can even apply for GRC, which is governance, risk, and compliance. You can apply for IT security analyst role. In fact, it's the best preparation ground for you to even go into cybersecurity, even if you want to go into cybersecurity. And let me tell you the beauty of this career again. In the organization I work for, I performed an audit which is more cybersecurity related, and so far it's been the best audit they've had in the past 2-3 years because of the level of details I put into it, the way my documentation and the work papers and everything was presented before the directors. And this is what they told me. If you even want to go into cybersecurity operation or you want to go into the information systems, we call them information services organization, please let us know. We'll be ready and willing. And that's one of the benefits that are actually incidental to being knowledgeable about this career. So now let me also jump onto the next slide, which is on the benefits. What are you going to benefit from my training? I'll be training you on all the IT modules that you will need for the entire time of your career. And when I mean entire, it simply means the basic knowledge that you need that nobody will even suspect whether you know anything or you don't know anything on your own. Trust me.
So basically what you're saying is, if you come into your program, they don't know what's going on, you train them. When they get into the client site and they need some, little guidance, you could tell them, clues on how to survive over there and make sure that they have it going well, correct?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Emeka. You know one thing, we are still getting to that point. The benefits are numerous. I have just 6 on this slide.
Okay.
That I think that falls under the 6th. Yeah, that falls under the 6th bullet point here. And then the first one is training them on all the IT audit modules, everything you need to know about IT auditing, your understanding of all those things that I mentioned in the previous slide. Then also I do what we call a simulation through visual presentation. So I took this training, I joined this career just the same way. I trained for this career just the same way I've been training people in the past 2 years now. So now, one thing that I saw that was lacking was, to me, I'm very good at reading and learning things and also presenting on what I learned. But the biggest challenge was technology was like it's a rocket science to me. I needed to see what they were talking about. You're talking about the OS layer. What is the OS layer? What is it? Operating system. What is this database they are talking? What does it look like? You understand? So with this simulation through a visual presentation, and based on my own personal experience, I have incorporated this into my last class, and which I even intend to consolidate upon going forward. Now, the third benefit is that there will be learning materials and study guide for everyone who is willing to participate and join this career too. Now, the fourth and the most important thing is interview prep. Yeah, of course, Kingsley, and I'm very thankful that you mentioned that. I met, he was introduced to me by my very good brother and friend who is also on this call, Emmanuel Akoridia interview. I specifically invited him to join this call. So interview preparation is what I do for every student in my class. This is it. When you apply for the job, okay, which recruiter reached out to you, which organization? Let me see, what are the job descriptions? I look at the job description. Mary here once, Mary, who just got a job today, to the glory of God, once sent me an assessment that she was asked to do. And then I was still in Jersey, which was last year. I came back to Dallas in February. So she sent the assessment. I woke up, I think I took a nap. Then I was working for a public accounting firm in New York. And it's a whole lot of work when you work for a public accounting firm. I think it was like around after 11 p.m. But I woke up like around 4, after 11 p.m. our own time. It was like after 12 p.m. my own time, Eastern time. As at then, I woke up around 4 a.m. That was how early I used to wake up, because you have to wake up that early if you're working for a public accounting firm. So, and for the record, the public accounting firm I was working for was the public accounting firm that the US Congress subpoenaed in 2018 to produce the former President Trump's taxes, all his taxes. That was the firm I was working for. And trust me, I'm not bragging. When I was working for that firm, it came to a point, one of the reasons I quit that job was because it was like I was the only senior consultant in the entire risk consulting section. Like whenever there was anything, any problem, any sensitive thing, even whenever PCAOB was coming to audit because we also have like government bodies that will come and audit all our audit work papers to make sure that we are doing the right job for our clients. My work papers were picked twice. I never knew until a manager told me in confidence, but that is by the way. And I also maintain the same standard with the student that I teach in my class, but that is by the way anyways. So Mary reached out to me that night. I responded, and she was asking me the difference between inclusive auditing. I still remember vividly what she asked me: inclusive and carved out auditing. Inclusive and carved out reporting in SOC audit for service organization controls. And just right there and then, I just told her the difference. I highlighted them in very brief and catchy way that anyone, even if you have been in the field for 50 years, trust me, when you see the first bullet point, you have no choice but to know that this person has been in that field. About 4 weeks ago, I was returning from Richmond, Virginia. This Mary again sent me a message about data presentation, the life cycle of data management or something like that. So, and I was on the flight. As soon as I arrived, the mere fact that she was part of my class, I took my time, even before calling my girlfriend to say, hey, babe, please come and pick me up. I'm already at the airport. I had to respond to the message to make sure that she got what she wanted. But anyway, that is by the way. That's one of the benefits that every student in my class will be getting. Another thing is the resume building process. This is a terrible mistake that many people make, no matter how smart you are, no matter how competent or experienced you are in your field. If your resume is terrible, trust me, it's like you are just making an appeal to the devil. So I've seen so many things with punctuations, tenses, and sentences, things like that. So I try as much as possible to help my students review their resume. Hey, please put this. You know, considering the fact that many of us are not, we're not born in this country. Some of us obtain our education in, abroad or, in Africa, there is a way you have to structure that resume, to catch the attention of these recruiters and hiring managers. So that's where resume building process comes in. Then post-training mentorship and guidance. It's not enough for you to get a job. How do you maintain that job? That's a very vital question right there. And this is where I also come in. It's my passion to help people grow. I can't do all the IT audit jobs in this country. And there are so many of them out there laying fallow. Some people have to pick them up. And when they pick them up, I have to help them so that they can keep making the money that they have to make to sustain themselves. So any question before I jump onto the next slide? Don't worry, the other slides are just, they won't be as wordy as this one.
Hey, my brother, I have a question for you. This is Shem.
Shem, nice to meet you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, with the kind of training you do at the end, does somebody get the certification that they have been getting? They can use it like for job wise. And then another thing, you elaborated very well how you prepare somebody to be able to be for market ready. If somebody doesn't have a bachelor, like we might have some teenagers too who are in college and they might be looking into that. With the experience and with your training and certification, if you give it, do you think they can be able to go through the entry level to get into the IT industry, please?
All right. So thank you very much, Shem, for that very brilliant question. And that's a very thoughtful one that you just asked right there. So now answer that. This is not a formal training. Now I have to tell you that for real. This is my training. It's not like it's registered on maybe a university education board or something like that. This training was established to help professionals to get an easier transition into this field, not for professionals who want to transition. Because if you understand the concept of this field, to get the job will be easier for you. You get what I'm saying? We have so many people who go spend 4 or 5 years in college and even 3 to 5 years in college to get a degree. And at the end of the year, their degree, they are not unable to even get a job. And even majority of them who still even get the job, they don't even get job that even pays them $20, $25 an hour. So this job is for corporate hustlers. Let me use that word in quotes, corporate hustlers. This is for professionals who aspire to be corporate hustlers. And I'm going to be very unashamed and very spontaneous with the use of that phrase, corporate hustler. Like, you have the brain to acquire something and you have a degree, but you don't know what next to do. You're like, oh, but I know about IT auditing. Why don't I just go to Mr. Tunde? Let's work on my resume so I can start applying, And trust me, by the time you send like about 5 applications, at least 1 or 2 recruiters will reach out to you. Do that if you do about 15 of those, 3 or 4, 5 recruiters will reach out to you. And the chances that you get at least one of those job offers, it's gonna push you to at least about 75 to 80%. So that is what we are talking about. So there is no certification to answer your question, Mr. Shem. However, this is not one field that younger folks will appreciate. Maybe like teenagers, if you're talking about children, and I will tell you why. I would rather, and I will use this medium to also, implore everyone on this call, if you have children that you feel you are passionate about, encouraging them to be in the field of IT, try to find like coding programs for them where they can learn how to code. Fortunately for us, we're in the age of low coding platforms. Now there are platforms now where you don't have to code consistently like we used to, and the time passed to build enterprise applications. So technology is growing every day. Just have them learn the basic skills like communication skills, writing skills, teach them basic Microsoft Office tools like Word, Excel, PowerPoint presentation, the one I'm actually sharing with us right now. Let them learn those ones, let them learn coding skills. If you want to teach them some data analytics tools like Power BI and Idea, something that can, where they can make like some visual presentation, not only to their peers or their teachers, but also, on the long run to corporations and very big organizations. So that is what we should be teaching our children or teenagers for now. IT audit, they can learn all of that. At the end of the day, to learn about IT audit, they just need just basic knowledge of technology. Trust me. Like I said, I studied law. In fact, technology used to be like a rocket science to me. But I got into the field and I got a very good hang of it because all I needed was just to know the basic knowledge of technology.
Yeah, Tunde, before we run out of time, let me just elaborate on that real quick, and you can continue. Mr. Shem, I promise you, having your child getting an understanding of what's going on right now will help them a lot. Why? I've hired a lot of Indians who did not know anything about what the current job they were being hired for was, but they got in, spent all their evenings trying to understand what was happening, and you give them a couple of weeks, and they're speaking in a language like they already have been through this, they understand it. But I knew they didn't know anything. But you see them spending time, spending hours, even after work, till midnight working on this. If you could get, I would tell you, learning from our people, especially our people, our brother, is the best way to learn, because they'll give them all the time they need to get this down, and they are ready for the corporate world. And honestly speaking, I'm telling you, some of these places, and I know Tunde said requires a degree, some of these places just want to see that you have the experience. Degree will come later, because you can have all the degrees you have. If you don't have the experience, hands-on experience, you are what is called what do you call it? A newcomer or a rookie. They don't want rookies. They want people who have 2-3 years of experience. What Tunde is going to teach anyone here would be equivalent to that 6 years of experience. Because whatever they put to you, if you don't know, you just ask Tunde, call him, WhatsApp him, and he will take care of it. So I really suggest 150%. If you have a child who's old enough to start understanding this, let them start getting it now, because by the time they finish college, or if they want to jump into real life scenarios, they will be ready. I promise you. So just to answer your question, I don't want us to run out of time here. But yeah, okay, please continue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emeka.
I hope we answered the question, Shem. Sorry. I hope we answered this question.
Yeah. Oh, Shem, does that answer your question, or did I leave anything out? Please.
I think it answered. And another thing I wanted to ask, maybe later you might touch it up, how long your classes go and maybe what might be the cost, but I know you come into that later.
So I'm definitely going to come into that later. At the end of this this call, I'm going to send a link to this Zoom chat. So that link is going to give you it's a Google form for you to fill. It's going to ask you some basic questions about yourself, your interest, relating to this presentation, and then you just send them to me. And once I get them from there, I'll get your numbers. I'll get your phone numbers and email. We are in the age of data privacy, and so I'm not going to be asking for that field that asks for your first and last, your name. You don't have to put your last name. Okay, you can just put your name and maybe just your nickname or something. If the requirement to restrict you from not putting your last name. So, just so through that. And then of course my number is, I'm also going to put my number in this chat so that you can reach out to me personally and ask further questions after this call.
Yeah. Anything that has to do with cost, you have to reach out to him directly and talk one-on-one with him, please. Just FYI. Okay. Please continue, sir.
All right. So basically, what is IT audit? I'm going to rush this because we are over time. It's an independent process of verifying the operating effectiveness and security of information systems, processing, and operations. So like I said, IT, drives everything we do in our daily activities. So you can imagine how much of reliance that every business organization and corporate entities place on information technology. So due to that heavy reliance, there are associated risks with them. So to help organizations to make sure that their controls against such risk are operating effectively, that's what you're going to be doing as an IT auditor. You just be like helping the organizations to evaluate and assess their information security program and their practices. You don't have to be too technical. It doesn't require any kind of coding experience or anything of that nature. Also, the third thing about the career is that you just be asking questions. Let's say I want to audit you, I'll just be asking you questions, just the same way everybody's asking me questions. Oh, inquiry. And then you also look at that through those inquiries, you're going to observe them do some of the things you're asking them. Even if they give you something, you also observe those things and then you just inspect and then you write your conclusion or whatever it is you feel about what you have seen. And of course, you have to be professionally skeptical. That I'm also coming to in some of the forthcoming slides. So any question on this, on what IT audit is all about based on what I just expressed before I move on to the next slide?
Please move on to the next slide, it's better. So that the
Thank you.
questions.
So what do IT auditors do? You guys are just like IT auditors were like medical doctors. Somebody is not sure whether he's sick or not, but because he wants to make sure that he's healthy. So every year that person has to go for medical checkup. That is what auditing is all about. To make sure that every organ, every aspect of your body, everything that makes up your entire anatomy is operating or working effectively. So we help organizations to identify the risk to their information security policies, their processes, and even their sensitive information. Do you know the amount of information that organizations process? Think of financial information, their own financial information. Think of their own trade secrets, their own strategic information. I think in 2015, Apple, that's a famous manufacturer of the iPhones and
Apple,
that we use, they lost billions of dollars in 2015 because there was a leak of some of their business strategies. And something is telling me that that was what led to the Samsung Edge. I'm not too sure. I'm not saying this authoritatively. The Samsung Edge that came out in the following year, but I'm not too sure. But they lost billions of dollars just based on that loss. Now think of all the personal information of all their employees, their customers, clients, and every other stakeholder that is associated with our company. Health information costs, just one health information costs more than $50 in the dark site, where all these cyber criminals go to sell all this information whenever there is a data breach. So we think of your social security numbers, your first and last name and date of birth. Think of anything of that nature. Think of the volume of information that they process. And all these things, what you'll be doing as an IT auditor is to help the organization ensure that their information security program is effective, is adequate and sufficient enough on the basis of confidentiality, integrity, and availability of such information. Then let me also give you one last example before I go. Sometime last year, and I shared this with Emeka during our last conversation. Sometime last year, Facebook and Instagram were down for a few hours. Now I'm coming to availability of data now. Mark Zuckerberg was what, 40 something, I think $49 billion, and he lost $7 billion. He lost $7 billion in a day. That was due to a system downtime. They were unable to recover their operations in a timely fashion.
Yep.
That's because data was unavailable to all Facebook and Instagram users, and even to the employees of Facebook and Instagram themselves. So now availability of data is imperative and also fundamental to information security. Now, when you come into my class, I will teach you what we call business continuity and disaster recovery, which are part of IT continuity strategy. Disruption of business or IT operations can happen to any organization, no matter how secure their controls are. But the ability to recover in a timely manner so that you will not lose so much money. Some of those things I'm also going to be teaching in this class. And that is, so you can imagine if that downtime had persisted for 2-3 days, maybe Zuckerberg would have lost $21 billion. Maybe he'll probably be lower, maybe number 22 or number 50 something on Forbes list now, but that is by the way. So we also help organizations to improve their IT infrastructure and information security policies. We help them to improve their information security program and also practices. We also report to management on the things that we see as auditors. Are you getting it? As findings, issues, we call them findings. A finding is something that is wrong or something that they are not doing effectively within the organization, and issues that we think that they should fix. So that is what we do as IT auditors. So we are like EFCC in Nigeria, the eagle eye. So we are like the eagle eye for every organization.
WhatsApp was done too. Okay, Yemi said something on the chat section. WhatsApp was also messed up. Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, WhatsApp too was messed up. God bless you,
Yeah.
Mr. Salau.
Yeah.
God bless you for saying that. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. So IT auditors professional requirements. Any question before, because I was just talking on and on. That is me. I'm sorry. That's just me. Even at work, when I start talking, everybody's silent, like they're like, Tunde, you got it all. My manager today was like, Tunde, you know what? I need to pick my kids from daycare. Trust me, I know you can do this. Just go ahead and call me. So that's just it. So now, IT auditors professional requirements, bachelor's or at least an associate degree, basic Microsoft Office tools, application like Microsoft Excel, Word, PowerPoint, effective written and verbal communications. You need to be, even if you have problem with that one, that's one of the mentorship and guidance that I offer. Not everybody can be good communicator, and that's a fact. And not everyone can write very well. Writing is not everybody's forte. Let me use that word. So data analytical skills, you need that very well too. And it's also tied to Excel and communication. Why? Because you must be able to analyze data and interpret what you have analyzed through Excel. Think of pivot summary, think of VLOOKUP, power lookup, HLOOKUP. How will you analyze what you have looked up? How would you communicate that to the management and the stakeholders? Professional skepticism. When I met with Mr. Emeka the other day and, told him about myself, what he asked me? He was like, well, you sound very expressive, but that's not enough for me. I have very wonderful people on my platform. These are professionals. These are great Africans. I'm not just going to bring anybody onto that platform to come and speak. So I need to know your right. I still need to see your resume. I need to see that. Now, that is what we call professional skepticism. You don't have to be an IT auditor to be professionally skeptical. It is supposed to be an inherent attribute of every professional. Whether you're a project manager, you are an operational associate, you are an auditor, you are a director, you are a board member, you are even the CEO. In fact, the CEO has to be more professionally skeptical than anybody. So, but anyways, professional skepticism is one of those skill sets you need. Don't worry, in the course of our discussion and conversation in my class, you will start, even without telling you that I'm teaching you professional skepticism, you will start learning those traits from the things I'm going to be doing. Now, the next thing is your curiosity and willingness to learn existing and new technologies. And this is a living attribute. Why? Because it has to live throughout your entire career. And finally, you have to be detail-oriented and be a spontaneous team player. What do I mean by being detail-oriented? If there is any kind of grammatical error in what I've been presenting to everybody on this call, now, if after this call, somebody calls me to it, now that's someone I can call someone who is detail-oriented. You see a pattern and then you see a deviation from that pattern. Now, I know you are detail-oriented. Now, spontaneous team player, don't act like, I did not go to school for IT. I'm not sure. Maybe they will be thinking I didn't go to school for IT. Maybe they will be thinking I didn't go to school for this job. No, please don't think like that. Be spontaneous. Tell them what you know. Feel free to ask foolish questions. That was the first thing somebody told me when I got my very first IT audit job. Say, there is no foolish question in auditing. So be a spontaneous team player. Spontaneity works.
Yeah.
So now, career benefits and prospects. I can tell you categorically, average salary ranges from $70,884 to $130,000 per year. And this is according to pay scale. But I can tell everyone confidently on this call that in the last 2-3 years, I've not seen anyone come to me to tell me they made 70,000. The least I've heard is 90,000. I'm sorry, that's the least I've heard. You all heard Tosi, Mary. Mary is not 90,000, it's $90.
Wow.
$90. So if you calculate that, that's like approximately about $180,000 per year.
Yeah.
And guess what? I don't even, my main job, I don't even make up to that. So, but I am happy because I can't get all the jobs out there. But knowing that the people that I'm training and also guiding and mentoring, they are making that much, that is my joy. That is my happiness. And that is the reason why I'm very passionate about this presentation tonight. So, however, this depends on the work location and the experience that you claim. So after the training, I'm not going to build your resume to say, oh, this person is just starting IT audit role. Why? Believe me, and I'm being very blunt about this here. There is no recruiting, even with all my experience, if I put my real number of years on it, they won't even pay me more than 130,000.
Yeah.
Put my real number of years of experience on my resume. So, and that's a fact. So now, depending on the level you occupy within an organization, you can make up to 150 to 500,000. My previous, my last two jobs when I was in the East Coast, the VP, somebody sneaked to tell me he was making close to $500,000. He was the vice president of internal audit. So within the audit department, there is the IT audit, and then there is the operational or business audit side. So for supervisors, managers, directors, and head of audit department, you can categorize, those are the people that make within that range. And of course, even if you're not a supervisor, you can still make up to 150, and that's a fact. But I don't want to raise anybody's hopes here. And that's the reason why I kept it as modest as possible.
Yeah.
Now, on the third point, which is an average to expert knowledge of all domains of IT. During my initial present, in the second slide, I talked about things I will be teaching us, the components of IT, the IT components, the hardware, software, network, database, application, and all those juicy stuff when it comes to IT, database administration. All those domains are, you don't have to be an expert in them. Just have the basic knowledge. And this is some of the things that you will know, because, and trust me, you don't even have to go to school for all this. When you start the job, when you start asking questions and they start responding to you and you start auditing, before you know it, you know a lot about cybersecurity. I'm telling you, I didn't know anything about firewall until 2019, late 2019. I was put on a cybersecurity operations audit. My section was on firewall rule change management and firewall device configuration management. Started learning about firewalls, which is more like a cybersecurity and networking operations thing. So you will know on the job. You don't even have to go to school for it. Now, the last benefit is that a seamless transition to other IT career roles, such as being a governance and risk compliance analyst, being a cybersecurity professional, if you want to transition into that, IT compliance analyst, IT security and risk analyst, those roles are cross-functional and they are all somehow related. Are you getting it? Why? Because
can you elaborate on that? So are you saying that if people choose, after doing your class, right? If they choose to say, okay, you know what, I want to do, audit for a while, then maybe transition into something else, they can literally just go into cyber.
My dear brother, even without doing the audit itself, after class, you can also apply for GRC analyst role. I've seen that from experience. You can apply for IT compliance analyst role, IT security and risk analyst, and even vendor risk analyst role. And this right here, vendor risk analyst role, is one of the benefits of my next class. How we'll be including some of the key fundamental knowledge that is required to be a vendor risk analyst as part of the next module. So if you're going to be joining the next class, you are blessed, and that's a fact.
Wow, that's very good. How do we get a hold of you? Because we need to know that anytime we have questions, because some people may not join tonight, right? Some people may think about it talk to you first so that you could tell them when the next class will start, what the schedule is, how long does it take. Then they'll start, preparation for that. So this is how we'll get a hold of you. Okay.
So, and that's exactly what you are seeing on my screen. And I
Yes.
think everybody on this call too, if you're on this screen, you can see that's my WhatsApp number. That's my personal number for, but I really do not answer most calls on my personal number. But if anybody calls me on WhatsApp, I have to know you personally to answer your call on my regular number. So if you call me on WhatsApp on this number, trust me, I'm definitely going to respond. Even if you don't call me, just send me a text message. Say you are from Africa Investment Forum platform. You want to be part of the next training. So for the IT audit training, that's my email in case you want to send me something comprehensive about you. Maybe you want to make like a more detailed inquiry that requires some kind of like email, back-to-back conversation. Then this will be an ideal way to reach out to me. So any other question, I just want to thank you, each and every one of you. Any questions before Mr. Emeka wraps this up?
Yeah. We give ourselves enough time for questions, please. There will be questions. So let me start. Your class, when is the next one and how long is it, please?
So I will be starting a demo session on Saturday.
Okay.
Are you getting it?
Yes.
And I will be starting a demo session on Saturday, and on Sunday I will be starting, the class proper. So my schedule, you will find my schedule on the Google form. I'm gonna send a link now to everyone on the chat group, which I just did. So now click on that form. In that form, you will see. Oh, don't worry.
It's right there.
Yes. So I already sent a link. It's a Google form.
Yeah.
It's like a survey, complete the survey. I'm going to collate the data for that survey. Based on the data collation, I'll be able to get your number. Please feel free to reach out to me on WhatsApp based on the number that I just shared.
Yes.
If you can reach out to me, if you feel like, please reach out to Emeka. He's been a very good brother. We talk about business, we talk about so many personal stuffs and all that. Please reach out to me and always give you my information, and then fill that form, and then you'll be part of Saturday session, this Saturday demo session. But the main class proper is going to start the forthcoming, which is next Saturday, and that's going to be on the 28th. Yeah.
28th. Okay, good.
Yes,
28th.
but ideally the class is supposed to start on the 21st. But the only reason why I may delay it to 28th is because of this platform. Because Mr. Emeka told me that there are so many folks, some folks here who may have relatives that could be interested. So that's the reason.
Yeah. Tunde, let me just ask for a favor. Can people see your face so they'll know who that is?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I'm not a bot. I'm not a BOT.
Let them see your face.
And guess what? In case you see me on the road, I'm just 5'4". So
it's okay.
I'm 5'4", and
powerful. And powerful.
Yeah,
and very smart.
Mighty.
Folks,
so
I want to tell everyone.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Emeka, somebody is asking how long is the class? It's going to take us an average of 8 to 10 weeks. So it's going to be very intense. And how much is the class? Please reach out to me personally for the cost.
Yes.
I don't want to scare people off. Some people have pecuniary situations. They have their own pecuniary situations. So that's where I have to be very considerate. I have to deal with people on case by case basis. That doesn't mean that if you have the money, you come to me and pretend that you don't have it. Please, it's worth investing in. So if you have it, even if you can put tips on top, 100%, please do not hesitate. I'm not bragging and I'm not boasting. It's a very good career field. I feel like when everybody was talking about what's your plan if you lose your job today, I did not contribute. because I know that there is no way I would lose job.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry to
of
say,
course.
but that's the
Very
fact.
good. Everybody, for you to have it, get a discount, just put the discount of that 100. So you get a
100.
discount from that today.
100.
Now let me say this, please. A lot of us, I don't know if anyone here can tell me the stock market money they have is doing well. I know no one is doing well in the stock market. For those of you who have spent money, putting your 401k and just playing with the stock market. So I will say this very, very calmly. Spend your money and invest in yourself. If you are in a situation right now where your job can be dissolved because the recession has come and you are not highly needed, if they could dispose of your job right now, please go and invest in yourself. You could be a trucker if you care. You could be in the medical field. I don't care what it is. You could be a nursing aide. You could be a CNA. You could be a nurse LVN. You could do that. Spend the time investing in yourself doing that. You could jump into the IT like we spoke about. These 3 areas: trucking, medical field, IT. You spend your money, enter the IT field, and have the knowledge forever. Like I said, the Indian community, they do not have to depend on certification or anything. They get that learning on the job. A lot of them on the job. Some of them get the learning just like this, and you apply. If you are in a situation where your job they could let you go and you don't have, and this is for people who joined late. We spoke about this before we had Mr. Tunde talk. If you are in a situation where, number one, you have a job and it's going to take you weeks or months to get another one, please be careful. Do not take this as a joke. You have to be in a situation where you can get a job right back, or you have to have your own business where they cannot fire you. Because in this recession coming, which you guys know it is here, the way you know recession is looking at the gas price. Once the gas price hits a certain level, a lot of people wouldn't want to go out. They don't have a reason to go out because it's too expensive to do that. That's number one, okay? Make sure, do your best to have something that you cannot be fired. If you can be fired from your job, find something to be a substitute so that you can survive regardless. Surviving doesn't mean having to pay your mortgage. Survive means being able to eat and take care of your children, okay? Next, if you have a job problem, you can't get work, and those people are not in your contact list, this is for people who came late, please just know that you have a contact list with people who are just well-wishers. They cannot help you go further in life. They cannot help you. You need people where if you have a problem, you pick up the phone and call them and they're helping you as soon as possible, okay? I don't want to brag because there's no need bragging, but I've reached a situation where, look, man, if you are here to waste my time, I cannot spend my time doing that. My family is more important than anything else, right? I have people internationally. If I need something, I swear to God, in Africa, I have people I will call right now. They will take care of it. And not just one place in Africa, different places in Africa, because those things are necessary for me, okay? So I want people to know, if you have a contact list that is full of people who are just,